Well, good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News. Hope everyone's having a lovely day and that you've had a marvelous afternoon as well. We are going to be getting deep into the situation with Michael Flynn today. Again, this morning, Maria Bartiromo reinforced her assertion that General Flynn will be completely exonerated this week. We're going to be talking about several of the posts related to this. We're going to be looking at General Flynn's declaration, which he put out on the 24th. We're going to be talking about some news coverage on the situation, and we're going to look at several videos which take us through the timeline of how and why the deep state would have wanted to remove Michael Flynn. It all begins with Flynn. I believe that with the exoneration of General Michael Flynn, this will begin the toppling of the pyramid. I believe the very first indictments we're going to see are going to be people who were involved in the entrapment of Michael Flynn, trying to get him put in prison and remove him so that he could not expose the skeletons in the closet from the last presidential administration. We are going to go over all of this and more, so please, friends, do sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. In the year 2020, it is so important to keep your body healthy. Collagen may be the closest thing we'll ever get to a real fountain of youth. The older you are, the more likely it's caught your attention, and for good reason. Many health experts now agree that consuming collagen is as crucial as it gets to renew and revitalize how you look and feel. After all, collagen is the most abundant protein in your body and is essentially the glue that holds you together. In fact, after age 20, people produce about 12% less collagen in their skin each decade. And for some, it's an even greater decline. This means that by the time you're middle-aged, you could be producing less than half of the collagen you did in your youth. Even worse, various lifestyle factors you may have been exposed to, like poor diet, smoking, pollution, stress, and excess sun exposure, can deplete your collagen levels even faster. In short, this year-by-year escalating loss of collagen is a key reason people look older as they get older, and explains why over time your skin sags and wrinkles, your hair gets thinner, your nails lose their strength, joints become stiff, recovery from activity and exercise slows down, and digestion-related complaints seem to pop up out of nowhere, and in general, our bodies just turn on us. Some of the benefits of using collagen are making your skin healthy and supple and giving you a youthful look, making your hair healthy and younger looking, supporting your joint flexibility, strengthening your nails, teeth, and gums, promoting strong, healthy muscles, tendons, and ligaments, and promoting strong, healthy bones and digestive health. So visit my page at healthwithredpill.com and purchase the only collagen on the market that I trust. Your link is in the description, and remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. Alright guys, thanks for sticking around. First of all, today on April 24th, just over the weekend at 10:08 p.m., General Michael Flynn put out this tweet, his declaration, asking for the removal of his guilty plea. Within it, he states his case that he never broke the law, that they took advantage of him, that they ambushed him. He had no idea he was being questioned for any type of suspicion of committing illegal acts. They used the opportunity to try to take him out. Now, Michael Flynn has been a fixture of the posts. We've been waiting for him to be exonerated. Maria Bartiromo spoke about it over the weekend, and then our favorite Anon included it in the most recent post. So let's go take a look. Now, on March 27th of 2018, we have an Anon that's quoted saying, "Free Flynn," and our favorite Anon responds, "Done in 30, house cleaning, White House secured, final stage." And then on April 27th, 1 month later, we get two additional posts with "done in 30" in quotes and 30 in the kill box. There's an article from Fox News talking about Flynn's guilty plea, despite the fact that the FBI did not think he lied. And we're asked, why would Flynn plead guilty to something untrue? Define testimony. Define on record. Who knows where the bodies are buried? Flynn is safe. Expand your thinking. And then in an additional post later that day, we have the same post included and what was completed and released today regarding Flynn, done in 30, expand. So from March 27th till April 27th, we have a 30-day period. We're asked what was released today. Well, that was the House Republicans' report, which showed despite Flynn pleading guilty, the FBI did not think that he was guilty. So let's go ahead and take a look at that article. So here we have the actual link which was included in that original post. House report backs claim that the FBI agents did not think Flynn lied despite his guilty plea. That report being from the House Intelligence Committee Republicans who were looking into the Russia investigation at that time. They had 44 findings within the report, and essentially one of the biggest ones was the fact that Flynn did not lie. The FBI didn't think that he lied, and it was actually James Comey who initially reported that Flynn had lied and told Vice President Pence that. Now, it was disputed by Democrats at the time, but when it was released, many of us thought that that was going to be the exoneration that Flynn would need to receive. However, the exculpatory or Brady material that had never been given to Flynn's legal team or to the court for that matter was really what was necessary in order to prove Flynn's innocence, and that's where we find ourselves today. So this report was hinted at by our favorite Anon on March 27, 2018, and then 30 days later, it was actually released. So Flynn was safe, Flynn has been safe, and perhaps Flynn went ahead and pled guilty to these crimes, not only because of the threats that he received against his son, but it also allowed for him to provide testimony on the illegal actions that were taking place under the former administration. And once Flynn is fully exonerated this week, he'll be able to talk about that illegal activity publicly. And you can bet that the information he's going to be providing on that former administration, the FBI officials, and anyone else in the intelligence community, they are not going to be very excited about Flynn getting this exoneration. This is going to be what sets it all off, my friends. And that's why I said I think those first indictments are going to be related to this very important case. Now, nearly 2 years later, on April 26th, we have the most recent post, which is the outside of that tower where these lanterns were placed, and it gives us the Maria Bartiromo tweet, the first Maria Bartiromo tweet. Let's take a look. All right, so 2 days after Michael Flynn's declaration is released, Maria Bartiromo breaks the news that sources are saying General Flynn will be completely exonerated this week. It was a total fraud, a setup, more tomorrow, and she did continue to talk about it. But first, let's go take a look at a bit of reporting which uses Maria's research and puts it all together. So Sidney Powell, ever since taking on General Flynn's case, has been hard at work to have this exculpatory or Brady information released. That information was given on Friday, and later that day is when General Michael Flynn released his declaration asking for his plea to be removed. Now, the information is still under seal, but Sidney has said that it most certainly reveals that Michael Flynn did not commit any crimes. And furthermore, they show specific misconduct on behalf of Prosecutor Brandon Van Grack, who not only was working to put Michael Flynn away, but apparently also was part of Mueller's team on the special counsel in the Russia investigation. Now, ever since Michael Flynn came on the scene as a potential nominee to President Trump's administration, the FBI, the DOJ, the former administration were working very diligently to put him away and try to silence him, because Flynn knows where the bodies are buried. Flynn is going to reveal everything about the last administration. President Trump has recently floated the idea of pardoning General Flynn, but here's the thing. General Flynn has committed no crimes, so it needs to be a full exoneration. I'm really happy that it happened this way, and I understand that General Flynn has suffered a mighty burden over the last couple of years, but this is exactly what's needed. He must be exonerated, and it must be shown that the FBI, the deep state, worked hard to put him away and to silence him. They forced him to plead guilty. He had committed absolutely no crime. Now, who was in charge of the FBI at the time that General Flynn was targeted? Well, that would be James Comey. And here we have a tweet from Heather Champion. This is back from December 15th of 2019. And this is Comey admitting that he bypassed normal White House protocol when he sent 2 FBI agents to interrogate Flynn. They ambushed him. Comey used this transition period to sabotage General Flynn, and anyone who describes their behavior as gotten away with it knows the wrong that they have done. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this clip of good old Jim.
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration, in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration. The protocol, 2 men that all of us have perhaps increased appreciation for over the last 2 years. And in both of those administrations, there was process. And so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals and who would be there. And I thought, it's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over. And so we placed a call to Flynn, said, hey, we're sending a couple guys over. Hope you'll talk to them. He said, sure. Nobody else was there. They interviewed him in a conference room at the White House Situation Room, and he lied to them. And that's what he's now pled guilty to.
What did he think they were coming over there for?
I don't think he knew. No, we didn't tell him. Just said, sending over a couple of agents. I want to ask you some questions. I didn't have this conversation. My deputy director did. But hope you got a few minutes you can sit down and talk to them. And he said, sure.
Okay.
So James Comey orders Andrew McCabe to give Michael Flynn a call in the chaos of the transition period. Michael Flynn had no reason to think that they were coming to interrogate him because he'd done nothing wrong, and he had absolutely no concept of what they were trying to do. James Comey, on the other hand, knew that it was an ambush. James Comey, on the other hand, knew that he was breaking protocol, and James Comey was hoping to entrap Michael Flynn in some type of a situation so that they could use it against him at a later date, which they did in very short order. Michael Flynn has done nothing wrong. He does not need a pardon. He must be exonerated, and this new exculpatory information is what is going to do it. Now, for what reason would they have to go after General Michael Flynn in such a calculated manner? Well, back in February, Devin Nunes had a conversation at CPAC with Dan Bongino, and he laid out the main reasons as to why, and it is pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
And the frustrating part about this is that I know, because I was on the Trump transition team, one of the things that General Flynn wanted to do, he thought it was critically important that we empty out the swamp of all the senior intelligence folks that are in Washington, D.C. So they had a real reason to get rid of General Flynn. And because he was going to downsize the NSC, downsize the rest of the IC elements in the swamp, push people out to the field, which is where you can actually get intelligence. That's what he wanted to do. And so I know that because he told me this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not rumint. This is him telling me, looking at a chart on all the people he was going to eliminate.
So Devin Nunes was told firsthand by General Michael Flynn his plans to downsize the intelligence element within the swamp in D.C. He was going to remove the NSC from their position of power, and I think it's no small coincidence that the NSC has such a large role to play in the attempt to try to remove President Trump in the last several months. We had the situation with the whistleblower. We had all of the information coming out from the NSC with regard to the Ukraine call. All of it surrounding the intelligence community, the NSC, and the people, the very people that General Michael Flynn were seeking to remove from power there in Washington, D.C. Believe me, these people want nothing more than to maintain the power that they hold, to maintain their steel-like grip on this country and the people who are supposed to be governing us. As it stands right now, up until this point, it's been the intelligence community themselves who have been running this country. Michael Flynn was going to put a stop to that, and that is why they had to go after him. Just one of the reasons. So how were we able to get this Brady material entered into court and Michael Flynn to be potentially exonerated? Well, it's because Attorney General Bill Barr finally got involved and appointed an outside prosecutor to review the criminal case against Michael Flynn. That man was Jeffrey Jensen. He is the chief federal prosecutor in St. Louis. He was nominated by President Trump back in 2017. And at the time this article came out in mid-February, Jeffrey Jensen had been working on this case case for quite some time, at least several weeks. So all he needed was a couple of months to take a look at the evidence, and there we are. We find the Brady material given to General Flynn and his legal team. It's given to the court, and Brandon Van Grack has some splaining to do. Why, over the course of the last several years, did he continue to claim that there was no Brady material, and as soon as the special prosecutor gets involved, it turns out that there is enough to completely exonerate him? The very fact this exculpatory information exists, despite the protestations of Brandon Van Grack over the last couple of years, proves significant misconduct on his behalf. He was attempting to withhold this information and allow Michael Flynn to be prosecuted, despite knowing that he had done nothing wrong. If Michael Flynn's reckoning comes this week, Brandon Van Grack's cannot be too far behind. I'm looking forward to seeing that. So, in recent weeks, we've gotten confirmation, proof positive, that the FBI lied about the FISA process. They lied about the evidence they held. Christopher Steele has admitted to destroying the evidence he supposedly did have. And now Michael Flynn has been shown to be completely innocent. Well, now Lindsey Graham has sent a letter to Attorney General Barr asking for underlying records to show who in FBI leadership, Crossfire Hurricane team, knew that Steele's dossier subsource fell apart in 2017, 4 months before the special counsel was appointed with Mueller. As the Crossfire Hurricane team was the team that was going after President Trump and trying to prove there was some type of collusion between him and Russia, it would be fairly useful information to know who on that team was aware that Steele's subsource from his dossier was absolute rubbish. Now, despite the knowledge that the subsource was unreliable, thereby calling into question all of the information in the Steele dossier, the FBI continued to seek renewals for FISA warrants. They continued to look at people in Trump's orbit, and they continued to go after President Trump on claims that they knew were patently false by this point. So Lindsey Graham is asking for all of the information, all of the emails surrounding this investigation, communications between Peter Strzok, Bill Priestap, and others. And if Lindsey Graham is granted access to this, then I would imagine this is going to be put out into the public domain in rather short order, thereby calling into question once again the legitimacy of this investigation and proving that everyone involved knew from the very beginning that it was a lie. Just like the way they went after General Flynn, they also went after President Trump. The plan was to first F Flynn, then F Trump, and here we are today. Everyone that they went after has been proven to be innocent. Now, this morning, Maria Bartiromo doubled down yet again on the claim that General Flynn would be exonerated this week based upon the presence of that exculpatory information due to the special prosecutor appointed by Attorney General Barr to look into the situation. She spoke with Devin Nunes yesterday talking about the importance of it, and this morning she spoke with Doug Collins about the exact same thing. We're going to take a look at this one last clip.
But what I do know, Congressman, is that those documents are exculpatory evidence. They were not shown to the court initially, and basically what they say are they are notes about Michael Flynn's meeting at the White House with the FBI, that it was a complete setup and that he never lied. It's all in Mr. Baker's notes. That's the exculpatory evidence. Do you believe that Michael Flynn will be exonerated this week? What do you know about this?
Well, this goes back to something you and I have been talking about for a long, long time, and it's about time that some of this comes out. And this is why when people hear us talk about the FISA court, when they hear us talk about the corrupt cabal of Comey, Strzok, Page, McCabe, all of them in that situation, they're understanding why this is important. That Brady evidence, that exculpatory evidence, is things that prosecutors must turn over. And what we found here is that when either you take Carter Page, Papadopoulos, now Flynn, and you start looking at this and putting the case together. Sidney Powell, the new attorney for General Flynn, has done a great job of pointing out the problems that we have seen. And what makes me think that this is even more important for maybe a possible dismissal or a major movement in this case is that when you're dealing with ineffective counsel assistance, which was his first attorneys, and that is being looked into, and I even saw a report that they're actually looking at possibly interviewing those previous attorneys, that tells me that this case is moving forward. And U.S. Attorney Jensen, who has been appointed to look at this is going to have plenty of evidence and plenty of ways to look and see if there was a problem with the interview. Remember, Peter Strzok did this interview. This was a time in which Comey knew that he had free reign because it was in the early stages of the transition, the president coming into office. This is nothing more than an unveiling and unpeeling that we've talked about, you and I have talked about many times before, of a corrupt cabal wanting to get candidate Trump and then President Trump. This is nothing more than confirmation of what we've seen before.
Everything that we've been talking about over the last several years has been proven conclusively. We've gotten more movement than people had ever thought possible at one point in the past. We have witnessed a pattern of behavior on behalf of the former administration, on behalf of the people in the FBI and the intelligence community. And now with the exoneration of Michael Flynn, it's all going to come out. The information that Lindsey Graham is working on with Attorney General Barr to release to the public, the information that Devin Nunes has been working so hard to reveal, and the information that Representative Doug Collins has also been working to reveal is finally upon us. You guys, it is happening. After a steady drip, drip, drip of information, the exoneration of Michael Flynn begins the flood, which will begin to wash the swamp clean. Nothing short of the future of our nation is at hand, and finally, after everything we've endured, after everything President Trump and General Michael Flynn have endured, we are finally at the precipice. All right, guys, that's all that I have for you today. I want to thank everyone for joining me. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless. Hey guys, one more thing. It's Red Pill. I just want to say thank you once again to everybody that has helped to support the channel. If you'd like to get involved, you can go ahead and check the show notes in the pinned comment and the description. There's always good information in there. I've got a couple of backup channels. I ask that you go ahead and subscribe to them because if anything does happen here, I will start publishing there. And if you want things like merchandise or anything else, there is a bunch of information that you can find right below this video. All right, guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.